All right. Welcome. Today I gotta teach white people how to speak English. I know, brah. I know. Here's the thing. it's you've probably been in a situation where someone's saying some crazy mumbly Joe nonsense words. Hey, at least you understood what that meant. Probably, right? Yeah, did you understand what I said or not? And how many times have you had to Google a dictionary, or, oh, is that the right, there's 4 definitions, which one's the right definition? Well, they're all applicable in various situations. You probably understood what that meant, too, yeah. And, I guess some people think you went to university to learn how to talk like this. No, I learned how to decrypt my crypt. Right? Yeah, crypt, you seal things away. Decryption, you encrypt your files to seal them away. Yeah, I literally decrypt the language with Latin and Greek, and because those are the words that make sense. If I see a word I don't know, I could instantly Google a dictionary, or I could decrypt the word. Circumstance. What is a circumstance? Well, a circle and a stance. Your stance with your footing, and if you pivot around your foot into a circle, that is your circumstance. Is it not? If you move to a different area, now you're in a different circumstance. Hypothetically, within this circumstance, right? You decrypt the language yourself. And then you check a definition, and that's the close. This guy's talking about a Higgs boson. I use the Higgs boson example. If you've been following, you probably know by now. He's probably going to be in the next Marvel movie. That word is a perfect example of, oh, you want to be a real scientist, you gotta know Higgs boson. It's like, oh, buddy, it's a hobgoblin. It's just another hobgoblin. In fact, it's 2 hobgoblins. Oh, buddy, now there's not just one hobgoblin anymore. If that didn't make sense, yeah, right? So yeah, I mean, the thing is, the only way... You'll never understand what a Higgs boson is or could or might be if you start... you still could, but it's starting with that word is difficult because... Right, it's like teleporting to the middle of Alaska. How the fuck are you gonna know you're in the middle of Alaska? If you look at a map, it's like, oh, Alaska, right? Yeah, it's a little different than waking up in a forest in Alaska somewhere. And, if you're trying to find a Higgs boson, you actually have to find Alaska, right? You have to walk there and draw a map. You're not... How am I going to teleport you there if I don't even know where it is or what I'm looking for yet? Oh, teleport? What does it mean? Well, you got Higgs bosons, dude. Teleport, telephone, telegram, telepath. Yeah, a port, like a shipping port. So you can call the other shipping port. Oh, now I'm in another shipping port. It's a little vague, but again, those are the words that make sense. And hopefully by now you understand why the Dutch king of the Count of Flanders pisses me the fuck off. Because they throw all these nonsense, jibber-jabber, Dutch, German, French words. Hey, we like the 4-letter German swear words. Those make sense. But it may be decryptable, but not in the same way. You cannot decrypt the words like this. So yeah, now you can start mumbling about fucking nonsense anything. And sounds like a lot of science, I guess. Oh yeah, we've talked about this, and now we're gonna get into it. I know how this sounds. It might be difficult to come to terms with, but... this language did not come from white people. I'm trying to be as honest as I can, Let's be straight up about this without all the PC bullshit. There's a bit of French, there's a bit of Viking, there's a fucking shit mix of everything. I like the Viking German 4-letter swear words, like I said. Fucking hell, yeah. At least it didn't waste my time. What does fuck mean? Oh god, that's the most complicated fucking definition. Yeah, could mean anything. It's kind of like dude bra or the hobgoblin. Kind of like any word, really, except for decryptable Latin root words, because they actually have concrete meanings that you can apply to other things. I know, right? Sorry, I'll try to slow the fuck down, man. What I'm saying is, if you want to speak English all properly like a snooty professor, you gotta look more towards Greek and Latin, and less towards the French, Dutch, Netherlands, and the King of Scotland. Scotland's cool. Actually, that's one cool thing about the UK, is the fact that it was so separated from a lot of that, and they maintained much more of the Latin root words. That's why you speak English instead of French or Dutch or German, right? Or whatever. Yeah, the Germans were also isolated by the Rhine River area. So basically anyone in France or the Dutch Netherlands, that's why I always refer to it. Spain was a bit isolated on its side. side, and yeah, Italy's like hidden behind the mountains, like, hey, stay away, the fucking Duke of Flanders is gonna fuck up your dictionary. Now, obviously, it's a little different. Like, I don't think anyone speaks, like, traditional Latin anymore. Like, Italian's different than Latin, Spanish is different than Latin, English is different than Latin. It's kind of it's like how ancient Mandarin or modern Chinese or, yeah, I don't know how different, you'd have to tell me. But yeah, it's not quite the same, brah, yeah. But it's similar. Many of the roots are similar. And again, the patterns that created it, the encryption process that created it. Literally, how did you build your fucking crypt? Stone? You can probably guess. This is one reason. I don't know. This is probably why English is so fucking complicated and hard to learn. And yeah, it's not just a bunch of different languages mixed together. It's a bunch of different encryption codes and processes. And I'm sorry, the Count of Flanders, I still can't figure it out, bruh. Yeah, French, I mean, French and English are very similar. Yeah, no kidding, they're very similar. They spent 100 years fighting each other and got nowhere. And then there was another Count of Flanders. Yeah, right back to square français. What I'm trying to say is, each of you white folk tribes, clans, whatever, whichever one whether you're the Viking or the fucking, whatever, man. Those are the only ones that stood out to us. Sorry. Everyone was barbarians, and then there was Vikings. They were still sort of barbarians, but they had all this science. Oh yeah, I know, they can build ships, and whoa, man. Like, yeah, that was probably why it's so distinct in that way. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Vikings were big, tough dudes or whatever. But realistically, I think the reason they were so successful in a lot of their whatever raiding and pillaging is because they did have some real science, and everyone else was going hibbity-jabbity, flipper-flopper, trying to cast a spell or something. Hey, I hope I've been clear that I'm very open-minded about spiritual beliefs. I do obviously like to poke fun at, Muslims or whatever, but hey, it's all in good fun. I'm looking forward to reading their book of fucking jokes about us. It's gonna be bigger than the Quran, I'm sure. Yeah, no, I hope you get the difference. I do think it's important that we be able to, lightly criticize each other like this. It's almost necessary. The necessity of it being necessary. Yeah, there's another one. It's usually how you can tell. Okay, so to get to the point is, yes, you can legitimately say, oh, there is some French in here, and yes, you can legitimately say that the Count of Flanders was the Count of Flanders indeed. He certainly was. If you want English to be less confusing, and you want to stop having hipster douchebags throw these buzzwords in your face, yeah, I don't think that was Latin. Is the crypt of English? Yeah, well, it is. It's a crypt, but it's not just made of stone. It's made of 20 different materials. You probably get it. Their crypt might be made of sand or fucking whatever, right? It's whatever they're building their crypt out of. Could be two materials, and they tied it together. Could be the Han Chinese and the Pong Chinese, and maybe that's how the new one came about. That's why there's fucking Mandarin and whatever the hell the other one is. Cantonese. Yeah, that one. There was the northern tribes and the southern tribes. It depends how similar their decryption. Maybe one was using DOS fucking boot up, or slightly different DOS program. Are they both Windows, brah? Well, and this is the thing, a computer language is very much a language. It's just one that's easier for a computer to process. Less of the Count of Flanders in there fucking it all up. Oh, man. So, yeah, obviously you want to know all of it, right? I want to know every word. Get an Oxford dictionary. It's bigger than the fucking Quran and the Bible. We gotta explain what all these words mean. Oh, man. So, okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is, most of the crypt, and the whole foundation of this crypt, is Latin, Greek, dude-bra bricks, and everything above it is, hastily thrown together, cut and paste cardboard bricks and plastic blocks, and, got some fucking marshmallows here to fill in this part with the Count of Flanders, and, yeah, I'm not saying it's incorrect, it's very much part of the language now. But because of how hastily it was thrown together, it does not have the solid structure that the Greek and Latin root words at the root base of this crypt. I think you get it by now. This is where it starts, and this is almost half of it. If you can learn... Again, I don't speak Greek or Italian or whatever, but spending a few days looking at this, you will start to be able to decrypt the language, most of it, half of it. And when people start throwing hobgoblins at you, you can stop and say, like, what's the difference between a goblin and a hobgoblin? There is a difference. And I guess this is important too, because this interferes with a lot of science and, you know, pseudoscience. Like, when I'm trying to think of a pseudonym for pseudos. Oh, a pseudonym for pseudoscience. Oh boy. Like a name that is fake? Like pseudonym? Like, yeah, not your real name? Oh my god, you're decrypting the language. You can't do that with the Count of Flanders. And that's why that shit pisses me off in a scientific sense. If you come to me talking about, you know, how the universe works, and all you have to say is fucking Count of Flanders, we'll go back to Flanders. Sorry, that's why I can't take it seriously, and maybe it confuses some people. I need to understand what the fuck you're saying. You're not speaking English, brah. A lot of science does involve explaining what you're trying to say, and you know, what's the idea. But, again, this is where I end up drawing the line with a lot of, you know, whatever, hippie ideas or fucking whatever the hell you think your religion is. Again, I'm trying to be neutral about this part. Just saying, I want to know what you know about it, but if you're speaking Espanol and I literally don't understand the words, that's why. And some people get uptight about this. It's like, well, you clearly don't get it. Yeah, no shit, I don't get it. You're just brainwashed by the language I learned and I'm trying to speak. Yeah, I don't know Espanol, yeah, right? That's literally most of it. So no wonder, that's why if you expect me to just get it or agree right away, or it's like, when you're just I'm living in a box of a fucking language I speak, bitch. Sorry, yeah, you probably get it. Yeah, obviously, translating between languages can be complicated, and there can be conflict involved, no shit. So I guess I encourage people to try to do that if they're unable to communicate an idea, but so many people, what do they, oh, they must be stupid, they just don't get it. And yeah, you know, oh, that's a sensitive topic if it's, you better speak our language. Well, shit, you better speak our language, white guy. Sorry, yeah, right? That's why it's funny for all of us, I know. It is. And, okay, I did walk through the process of creating the hobgoblin. It has a definition, but it's quite scientific. It's kind of like the Higgs boson. I can't summarize it in a little 140-letter Twitter quote. Yeah, there's not enough room to explain what the hell we think it might be. Literally, yeah, if you've been following all the science. We will get into it. We are going to try to find the hobgoblin, and the Higgs boson may be inside of the hobgoblin. Well, we might find it, but not just by saying Higgs boson. And I also heard about a UFO, and there's some dark matter somewhere. Yeah, that's why I get uptight about this, because you're very much inhibiting the process of science, like your inhibitions. There's more. It all makes sense, man. Super Mario's Galaxy, not the fucking Dutch King of Flanders. And I'll clarify, you probably think the hobgoblin sounds a little goofier than the Higgs boson. Does it really, brah? Higgs boson is not just some German guy's name, it's two different German guys' names put together. Higgs and boson, right? Mr. Boson is theorizing about bosons, and then Higgs boson claimed to have found, Mr. Higgs claimed to have found the Higgs boson. A hobgoblin is just a goblin who's a little bit bigger, and he's the tougher goblin. This one's hard to crack. And if you've been following, you probably get it by now. So many of these words. Yeah, this is where it's gonna click on this half, and we'll get to the next part, brah. Oh man, almost more than half of any weird word, the Higgs boson, yeah, it's literally not just some guy's name, but some guy from the Dutch Netherlands, Count of Flanders. It could be 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, that's almost every fucking time. So you probably understand, if you want me to take your science seriously, you need more than the Count of Flanders or the Duke Dutch of the fucking Netherlands. That's not enough. At this point, some people probably appreciate why I called it a hobgoblin, right? It's a little more, when you hear that word, it's like, wait, what are you talking about? That's probably what you should say when you hear Higgs boson. But no, that sounds like a German name, Professor Heisenberg. Oh, right, that's what science means. I hate to say it, a lot of people have fallen into this trap on whatever, the fucking Google checkmark answer. I found the most German name you've ever heard. That's not even a joke. Oh, are you gonna argue with this guy? Oh man. And again, that's the one language where we did like some of the words they threw on it. Yeah, those were some nice bricks, bro. We're moving those down to the foundation. The fuck wall. Really, this is why you know, as the language continues to expand, yeah, you think me making up hobgoblin? People do make up words all the time. And what I suggest is, let's bring it a little closer into these Latin, Greek... Oh yeah, you know how fucking racist this is now, buddy. You white guys don't know how to handle the English language. I'm sorry. Oh, the English were pretty good at handling it. King Richard kept the lockdown on that shit. He did not... Yeah, 100-year war to keep the Count of Flanders the fuck out of his dictionary. I don't know, in my opinion, the benefit to maintaining this kind of Greek-Latin encryption method is when you do make up a new word, you know, when Neo jumps into the Matrix, because we didn't have the Matrix back in Rome, brah, but you can attach the old root words into the circumference of the parameters, and oh my god, now the fucking coordinates, right? It's like, it still makes sense, and a guy from 200,000 years ago would still understand it. You could bring Roman legionnaires here, and they could fly your drones for you. You just gotta tell him what the fuck this thing is, and if you're speaking fucking Count of Flanders, he's not gonna know what the fuck you're saying. So, I don't know, I mean, a lot of, you know, long-lasting empires, the Chinese, fucking Egyptians, they were good at their written languages, and I hate to say, yeah, since you guys are already using most of it, why not just use this encryption method? The rest of it's like fucking the Count of Flanders virus in your computer. And some of you might get by now, like, oh, these fun little word games, oh, the encrypting of the crypt. It's like, no, now you actually understand this, not just what the word means, but its application and how to use it, and like, oh, science, yeah, it's not just mumbly Joe nonsense. And I hate to say, this has become a big problem in society. I'm sure you've run into it, and people tend to fall back on it in an argument, like, oh, I'll go find a word you haven't heard before. It's like, buddy, I wrote that fucking dictionary, right? Oh, so, not quite, you know, yeah, you get it. Certain words, like, you know, you probably heard reconnaissance or rendezvous. Yes, it sounds kind of French. That's straight from Napoleon's army, and that's why we still keep those, like, tucked in there. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go tell every soldier a new word for recon. Or, yeah, no, it's ghost recon. Yeah, that's just what it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want to just rip all the fucking Dutch-French nonsense out so far. Because, well, yeah, we still use a lot of it, you know, we might as well stick with what we're going with. It would, you know, be more detrimental to have to take away a bunch of words a bunch of people already know, and, like, because we'd have to make up more definitions, right? Yeah, it's kind of just complicating things further. I just mean, if someone does make up a new word, usually if anyone doing this in science will either make it something kind of goofy like a hobgoblin, one, so that crazy conspiracy nuts won't think twice about it, right? They're looking for fucking German names and dark matter. Yeah, a guy with a German name has like his fake French name or something when he does his fucking, you know, oh, hypothesis. I'll put my Heisenberg name on it when it's a theory. Oh, man. And before we really get into this, if English is not your second language, if you're, oh, how do I learn English? Start with the Greek alphabet. That's where we're gonna start here. Alpha, beta. Yeah, that's what the alphabet is, literally. Alright, so, you know, Greek and Latin are similar. They're different. And, you know, for foreign people, even white people, yeah, right, straight up, for foreigners. Oh, which is which? Oh, well, Greek is older. Oh, yeah, they look kind of similar. Yeah, those are Spartans or Romans? Oh, man, we're very different. I know, you know, Spartans were cool, but there's a reason they fell before Athens and Macedonia. Athens were all into science, and yeah, right? I hate to say that was Sparta's downfall. They were very skeptical of pretty much everything. They became hyper-skeptic hipster douchebags. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. That was what, you know, destroyed their aristocracy. And I mean, basically the result of that is that they never evolved. They stayed the same and everyone else got more advanced, and eventually that one phalanx formation wasn't quite enough, right? No matter how badass they were. Oh, someone else invented a longer spear. Oh my god! I know, right? A little bit of science goes a long way. Oh man, how clever. Well, they had to balance the weight a little. Yeah, right. Oh, well, you can't really pick up a spear. Oh, yeah. We figured it out, brah. Don't worry. This one's 20 feet long, but it's shorter on this side. Oh, it's possible. It's science. And, yeah, that was ancient Greece, which is, that's why we're learning the Greek alphabet first. Yes, this is where it all started. This is the quarry that we dug the fucking rocks out of to build this crypt. And, I mean, the good part is you don't really need to know much more than the alphabet here, because as we get into decrypting the crypt, yes, the languages are similar enough that the encryption process is almost exactly... We used their encryption process and incorporated a few things into it until it got a little too douchey in the Dutch Netherlands. I guess this is probably racist against everyone in the world, except for me. Sorry. But if you've ever wondered, you're one of those white guys thinking, oh, why you better learn our language, and thing is, you're probably thinking it is the best language, it's the most logical, yeah, no shit, it's the most logical language, brah. You know why? It's the fucking simplest language. We've kicked the Count of Flanders out because he makes up mumbly Joe nonsense. Like, I hope you get it. I understand why people in Japan learn a different language, that's not exactly negligent. No, this is getting it. Yeah, no, exactly. There's a difference. And I mean, what I'm sure this is the thing. Whatever they do in China, like I certainly don't know. Some people do. Whatever they did, it works. They've been using the same thing for thousands of years. Of course, it changed. It's not. I'm not speaking ancient Greek anymore. You think that beta is a squad or no? The beta squad. B. Those alpha males. Yeah, guys with their first name is A or no? You mean the first guy who got here? Can you be more specific? I guess all I'm saying is, if you are a person who speaks English and plans to speak English for the rest of your life and falls back on it for any reason, personal, professional, political, I certainly hope you don't throw these bricks out, brah, because then your entire pyramid, you might as well just move to the Dutch Netherlands, right? Like, straight up, that's basically what you might as well do. And I'm not saying, like, whatever, it works for them, it's just a very small country, not many people can figure it out, I guess, I don't know. I'm not saying they're inferior, like, whatever, it's just, if you're using someone else's encryption, it's like stealing someone's computer, and oh, I got viruses, oh, yeah, it is the Count of Flanders virus, someone fucked this up. I'm just saying, the more you go towards the mumbly Joe nonsense, eventually no one's gonna be able to communicate. Even dictionaries are gonna have too many definitions, and which is the first definition is gonna be the Latin or Greek definition, unless it's not a Latin or Greek word. Then you're in the realm of mumbly Joe nonsense, because it actually has no definition. And who defined it? Some people agreed on it. Do you remember when people agreed on things? I don't think you do, brah. The ancient Greek history at this point. And I think this is directly connected to people being hyper-skeptical, and yeah, nothing makes sense. The world is so confusing. The Dutch Netherlands is confusing, bruh. That's, oh man, yeah, all those mumbly Joe words, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, oh man. When Dr. Rosenzweig, well, he must know. Or it must be something. Yeah, they don't even know who it is. That's why you're not gonna find it if all you know is the name. And yeah, I mean, Google, whatever, obviously I use Google, we've been over it, I'll probably get back to it again. Yeah, you can find the right answer, you can find the wrong answer. You're not gonna find many solutions, because if it was already solved, no one would give a shit. They wouldn't be getting enough hits for the clickbait, right? It's only part of it. Yeah, oh man, I know, oh, why are your books better than my books? Well, these ones make sense, and yours are mumbly Joe fucking hipster Normandy I don't even know, man. I'm just saying. I'm sure you've had many miscommunications in your life. If you know, I'm not saying I'm more eloquent or anything, but if you don't know what that means, brah, I'm fucking hell. I'm saying you don't have to go to university. There's no hipster douchebag book that'll teach you how to do this. It's called a Greek alphabet. You probably already know it by now. It's as simple as possible. Yeah, just keep it simple, man. And if you do have to make up a hobgoblin, I better know what a goblin is. Yeah, you already knew what a goblin was. Yeah, that's the difference, lad. That's the difference. You take a brick that's already there, and you attach another brick to it. Because if the brick is just floating around somewhere, lost in space, I don't think anyone's gonna find it, lad. It's not on the menu anymore. So, I mean, whatever. If you're in a situation where it seems like, yeah, that guy just doesn't get it, if he doesn't get your idea, it very well could be no habla español, like in the literal sense, very literal, direct sense. If I understood your idea, I might get it, right? There is a difference. But if it is all the Dutch Netherlands, then it's all the Dutch Netherlands, and that's the least racist way I can say that. And I guess I also want to encourage people to, when they do hear a new crazy word, or learn I learned about this Higgs boson, whatever the fuck it is, think about what you think it is. If all you know is a word, yeah, you're like, well, if you don't know anything about it, then, you know, again, it's application. Like, how are you going to use it for anything? Sure, I might need it eventually. You could say that about anything, brah. You want me to teach you 10 million other words you're never going to need in your life? I mean, people do learn languages, but yeah, again, you're generally learning an decryption process or whatever, and yeah, those weird languages that can't be decrypted, it's called the Dutch Netherlands. Like, that's one of them, I'm straight up. That's an example of what, or that area, sorry, I don't know exactly which Count of Flanders is responsible, but that's a type of language that is going to end up on the History Channel a million years from now. Like, experts with quantum computers still can't decrypt the Dutch Netherlands, and that's why so much of this shit is like, I don't get it. Yeah, straight up, I get it. With this, you've already seen me decrypt a few words, and that's how I've learned most of this language. I hardly had... Well, yeah, how do you know? Did you Google it? Bitch, I hope you understand that Google has only existed for like 15 years, and people used to be a lot smarter. Oh, I know I'm generalizing, but like, my god, man, you must see how that's a backwards way of thinking. I mean, yeah, if all else fails, yes, oh man... But yeah, so many people now, it's like, yeah, I'm not really gonna believe it till I Google it. And it's like, yeah, but if you learn to decrypt it, and it's like, the thing is, ooh, words change over time anyway. Yeah, they sure do, to a point where people take a word that used to make sense, like, oh, you know, circumference, whatever, yeah, the circle, fucking stance, the circle circumstance, yeah. My god, I would not doubt that your Google definition is different. Which one is right? You know what? I'm going to use the one that I understand and apply it to anything I can, and I guarantee you it's going to be a lot more fucking useful for the rest of my life than having to Google it again next time, and next time, and next time, and oh, what did it tell me this time? Is the cable guy here yet? He already raped someone. I'm sorry. We've talked about all these things. Yes, we have. So, as for the Greek alphabet, yeah, you don't even have to remember this alphabet. I know you're thinking, what? Like, don't I have to learn No, you don't have to learn the Count of Flanders, because he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna scribble a bunch of shit on a piece of paper and be like, here, and walk away, and then there's a new Count of Flanders tomorrow. He's gonna tell you to throw that away. That's all useless, and... No, man. Yeah, you just, as you're reading through it, I'm sure you've seen almost all of this before. Ooh, an iota. Ooh, yeah, a zeta particle, or ooh, the lambda. Ooh, yeah, the mu, the pi. Ooh, pi. You've seen that before, haven't you? Oh, buddy, you want to talk about pi? It's a fucking archway, yeah, dropping pi bombs. Oh, looks like an N, right? Ooh, delta squad. Ooh, it's a triangle. Hey, what about psyops? Did you think psyops delta unit? Right? Yeah, you know, in the future, we're gonna have... No, 3,000 years ago, there was a PsyOps Delta unit. Not even fucking joking, brah. Fucking you, right? I hope you see why these are clown men, jesters, and tumblers abound, and why I see them as such. And no, I did not... The university I went to was in fucking Athens 3,000 years ago, brah. The reason I make the joke about the psychic soldiers, there's a game called PsyOps where you're like a SWAT team that has psychic powers. I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, okay, thousands of years ago with the PsyOps Delta unit, brah, yet long before Google, lad, my fucking god, no wonder no one's psychic anymore. I know you're curious, and I know you still think this is all bullshit? You could go find a guy who's like, oh, I got the inside scoop, there's fucking radiation everywhere, oh, there's fucking radiation everywhere, Rob Reiner. Anyway, the Greeks were, you know, quite proud of their triangle trick. Yeah, you know, you can go look up Pythagoras and all that if you want. There's a little more to it. But yeah, no, geometry, that was one of their things. They were good at geometry, which is basically just measuring space. Yeah, right now, oh, you know, Dr. Rosenzweig's wrong. I'm sure you found something about Dr. Rosenzweig. If it's more German than whatever, then I'm sure you're right. But, you know... right? But trust me, it's got nothing to do with racism. I just don't understand the Count of Flanders, and I want to kick him out of the fucking dictionary before he turns the whole thing into a Tower of Babel. It's getting there, brah. It's getting there. You'd have to read a Bible to know what that means. Oh my god, man. Yeah, don't worry, man. Don't worry. Don't worry about nothing, man. So, that triangle trick... One of them, there's different ways you can use a triangle on a piece of paper with geometry. I know geometry is math, and oh my god... This is the closest thing to being psychic that I have seen in you know, anywhere. Straight up, yeah, that's why I don't believe the tumblers and jesters abound, because they can't prove any of it, but I can, my god, I can, with a fucking triangle psyops delta unit. Do you understand now? Psychic soldiers, many, 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 many years ago. However, the problem is, to some people, this is not good enough. You're not actually psychic, brah. Right? No, straight up. Yeah, you see where Psi is. I hope you found it by now. No, they're gonna tell me I'm not actually psychic. Bruh. Psychic Delta unit? I don't know what else to say. This is what it is. That's probably where the idea stems back to. And I'm sorry you have to do a little bit of math to be psychic. That doesn't make sense. To some people, that's two different jihad zones. That's the Shiites and the Sunnis. Like, yeah, fucking war zone. They're against each other. Yeah, those are the communists. And it's like, oh man. I'm not saying there's no other way. I'm sure there's other ways, but whatever it is, it's not psychic. It's something else. It's, telepath, whatever, medium, medium heat, moderate, medicinal. Sorry, that's probably not even the same, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know. This is the most literal definition I can think of. I'm not saying, I'm right. Well, yeah, go find a German name if it makes you feel right. Will it help you with anything? What about Einstein? I already spent hours telling you about Einstein. We liked him because he keeps shit simple. He knows the fucking encryption, man. No, I know, whatever. I'm not saying a German guy might not figure it out, but you gotta realize there's a little more to it. Impossible. Omicron Persei 8. I know, you've seen it, right? The 08. Octo. Omicron Perseus? So O Perseus 8. Because, yeah, Octo. I don't know. Right? You've seen all these words everywhere. I have chi, shai, chi, chu. That's what we called the Chinese dude's tea. Yeah, well, the tea helps you get to the chi. And, yeah, you've seen them all, maybe most of them. Gamma rays, oh man, there's fucking radiation. I go back and watch the part about radio waves if you need all the details or whatever, where I started with this. But yeah, no, radiation is light. Oh yeah, if you Google it, well no, light is light, yeah, and radiation particles in the fucking quantum phase. Oh my god, man, the word means light, and then the Duke of Flanders said, let's call it light. Okay, what about radiation? I don't know, it's 1,000 years later, fucking, there's radiation! Oh my god, man. My god, those radiant cancer bitches. Oh, yeah. So yeah, as I say, you don't really need to learn the whole language. Just, you don't even need to remember this whole alphabet. You can fucking download or take a picture of this and refer to it. Scientists are allowed to carry paper around. I know, right? I think some people think, no. They can still Google things, right? Oh, no. Well, yes, but no. Yes, but no. Not for an actual theory or solution to something. You know what I mean? Imagine you wanted the proof about a theory and it was a Google. Like, back to your Google, back to cheeseburgers.com is always trustworthy, and fucking, eventually it's all just gonna be one giant Dutch Netherland name. The whole world will just be the Dutch Netherlands. Anyway, I mean, the point here is, really, I'm just proving to you. Yeah, you want the proof? Where's the certified Google checkmark? They fucking carved a stone checkmark into this stone thousands of years ago. If there is a oldest or first definition for, the alpha, beta, I'm sorry, this is the foundation of your language. If you're gonna talk about your English alphabet, goddamn alpha, beta, how else? Unless you want to reinvent the entire language, you must see what I mean. You must see what I mean. I know how this might seem to some people. It's just like, you can only go so far trying to mangle something together before you stop and think about what you're building. And I know there's no one person who writes the dictionary. His name's Dr. Reisenzweig. Okay. Yeah, right? If you thought it was a hobgoblin or some dude, brah, you'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah, at least I know what that means. So yeah, I mean, whatever, you're gonna see these words again and again, and when some guy's like, well, the definition of gamma radiation, okay, gamma's a fucking third letter in the Greek alphabet, and radiation is light. So, I mean, yes, that frequency of light, and the quantum particles, fucking Higgs boson, Yeah, I hope you get it. Like, hey, that scientist did some real work. Dr. Higgs or Mr. Boson, or yeah, if you want to look into those guys, you might learn something. But if you do, you might be like, oh god, this is complicated, I need to do math, and then you find a different conspiracy. A hobgoblin? What the fuck is this? Oh man, you'll be seeing it on Google soon. That'll be a certified checkmark soon enough. And I mean, I made a joke before about seeing the code in the Matrix, Neo. Well, it's not actually the code in the yeah, it's not quite good enough for some people, I hate to say. You know, that's kind of neat, but not quite Superman. No, it's not, unfortunately. But, when someone says the Alpha and the Omega, it's a vague metaphor. It means, the beginning and the end, from beginning to end, right? And you'll understand these things before someone has a chance to Google it, or faster. Whatever. It's better. It's faster and it works. But yeah, no, people are losing touch with the fact that this is possible. Like, this is coming across as a conspiracy or something. He's trying to trick us, and yeah, right, trying to trick you into understanding how to speak English. All these white people run away, like, running away from English. Do you know where you're going, brah? Oh, I'm trying to help you before you end up in the Dutch Netherlands. Yeah, I mean, I guess this might sound, like, pompous, but really, I'm trying to make it, in my opinion, or whatever, I would think of it as a more humble gesture in the sense that if you think, like, oh, yeah, I must have gone to university or, read all these brainwashing books, half of what you perceive as me being smart or whatever is literally just the fact that I can speak the language well. Right? Articulate yourself a little, brah. And it's like, yeah, and then you're thinking Dr. Rosenzweig, and it's like, no, man, simplify. The simpler you keep it, dude, the easier it is, brah. And yeah, it sounds too goofy to be a scientist. All that matters is I found the fucking Higgs boson. He still doesn't know that that's the name of two German guys. I mean, I don't know, someone might quiz you on that, right? Like, if you ask, whatever, oh, blah, blah, Higgs boson, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, that doctor, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know that it's Dr. Boson or Mr. Higgs, or, yeah, exactly, they're gonna be like, dude, brah, like, fuck. And, yeah, I know, like, people might be arguing about the semantics, so, well, who's really right, who's really right. My god, one of those people is thinking about something and then, added a little hobgoblin to it so that they would remember what they were talking about and so they could mention it to someone, communicating with words. The other person looked up a word, and that's it. They don't know anything about it, and people trick themselves into thinking they have this secret knowledge about it, and it's like, it's just a bunch of Dutch nonsense. Like, tumblers and jesters abound. Like, I know it looks cool, but, like, my god, I know some people are starting to get it, and it's like, yeah, like, it's okay. You wake up from the Matrix, Neo. When you start reading the code, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I recognize all these words within words. That must be a mistake. Yeah, that's gotta be a mistake. Oh, typo. Oh, man. Or, yeah, you're just playing word games. Word games, man. The code in the Matrix. There is hidden meaning within words. There is scientific meaning and definitions within words. And, oh, how do you know? How the fuck do you know, Duke of Flanders? I can prove some things, but it's not good. That's not really magic. Oh, it's all magic until you understand how it works. Then it's science. And, yeah, no, trust me, I know how that sounds. And I guess, I don't know, I know I'm a bit of a dick. I'm probably not, I don't have probably the best bedside manner for a doctor. I'm the guy they hide in a lab somewhere. Put the monkey to work. But, I don't know, all I can say is, like, I'm taking great effort to present my ideas and in their function, like, yes, with this you can do this, and then this can happen, and it's up to you to agree with that or not. I hope you see how this is like the opposite of someone who expects you to agree with them, you know what I mean? People who expect you to agree and shove it in your face and say, no, this is the way it is, they're not scientists. Real scientists don't do that, and if they do, they're not scientists anymore. So, I know I'm a dick on my radio show or whatever, but I mean, you've probably noticed between things, like, when I'm trying to explain something, yeah, I might be right, I might be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, please explain which part you think is wrong, but to say everything is bullshit, or it's like, yeah, that's... I don't know, it's like, can you prove that it's bullshit, right? Or yeah, it's, in a way I can throw it back at you like that. It's like, which part doesn't make all of it? Yeah, there's no such thing as particles, or yeah, there's no such thing as oxygen. The periodic table, I think, is a great example, because yeah, like, all this science is bullshit. It's like, if you think the periodic table's bullshit, like, well, there's no oxygen, there's no anything, it's like, well, sure, there is, but it's, yeah, in that case, if you don't have anything better, and they'll start making up Dutch nonsense, to them, it's just as valid, and not quite, because you didn't understand what you were talking about in the first place. That's why it's so confusing, and that's why the world will always be confusing to some people, and they're frustrated yelling about shit, and I don't know. Yeah, so I guess, whatever, I guess I want to try to, like, I don't know, warn people, whatever. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of weirdo cultist people out there. They're not all dangerous. They're not all, like, rich. You know, some of them are just a few crazy people. I mean, cult ideals. The whole point is they want to sucker you into believing whatever they believe. And, you know, yeah, even if you don't get hurt or killed or whatever, it can still make your life a lot more confusing if you start believing too much shit that doesn't, I'm not going to say isn't real, just doesn't help you in any way. Is it something you can use? Is it applicable? That's how I judge the validity of all this shit. Like, how valid it is, right? Like, yeah, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I've done it 100 times and it works the same fucking way every time. So until can you do it a different way? Or yeah, and they're like, oh, what, I have to do something? Yeah, and I hate to say, this is usually how you can tell, is, you know, these more culty ideas, they don't want to do any work. The whole point to them is, what's the point in having magic powers if I still have to do work? Yeah, I thought the whole point was I could use magic instead, you know, instead of math, or instead of, you know, fixing something, or, you know, I can fly instead of building an airplane, or no, with the magic science, you can build an airplane. It's, oh, that sounds like a lot of work, and yeah, when it comes down to it, as soon as people realize there's real work involved, they're go find something easier, and the easier it is, oh boy, yeah. And yeah, many people flocked, they would assume that the most powerful magic is whatever makes your life the easiest, and that's kind of a joke with science too, makes your life easy, but the science is fucking hard, or, you know, whatever, someone's got to do the hard work so that someone else can have an easier life, and blah blah blah. It's not a guilt trip, it's science. Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. I don't know, and I guess, yeah, the bottom line is, it's just me almost everything I do in science is measuring stuff. I'm just measuring things in different ways and making comparisons of measurements, and once you notice that this part of the triangle and this part of the triangle equal this part of the triangle, it means I can measure something that I can't even see. It's like being psychic. Oh, it's not quite real psychic, though, because you can't just rub your temples and know. You actually have to do a little math. But it works, like, right? Yeah, to them that's like, it doesn't fit within what they thought it should be, you know what I mean? They always imagined it being more mystical and like, ooh, I can just do this, and man, no one can just do anything, that you gotta do something to do something, you know what I mean? Take a few steps to get there, put some work into it, fuck, get off your ass, King Henry, I'll start calling you King Richard. So, I don't know, I guess if you have, I don't know, I like to make fun of, like, tarot cards and stuff. Hey, I feel like there is great, they have their purpose. I know, right? Oh, blah. No. There is some scientific merit to it, but it's a little complicated. Yeah, but some people, it's like all or nothing. It's like, no, this is it, or you're against, you know, you're a communist jihadist, or yeah, get out of my temple. Oh man, and so whatever, like, some people are cooler about it than others, but you know what I mean, some people will say, oh, you're, you know, the establishment or the government. It's like, dude, if I worked for the government, I'd have a fucking more successful radio broadcast, I'd be on CNN or something. I don't know, you could think about something like astrology, oh yeah, ooh, astronomy, astrology? Oh boy. You know, your birth signs or whatever. I do think that, you know, because of Earth's magnetic field and how the molecules in our body respond to it, no, there is some scientific merit to how, not even planets aligning, just Earth's magnetic field, which might coincidentally line up to planetary alignments that we see in the stars. And, oh, it's not just a coincidence, buddy. This is how we notice these things, and, right? I hope you see that science and magic are one and the same, but, like, I want to actually know how to cast this spell, not just sit around talking about the spell, you know what I mean? That's basically what it is. So really, if you're one of those hippy dippies, oh bruh, If you think it has to be old and mystical, well, fucking hell, here's the Greek alphabet for you. This is about as old and mystical as it gets. It's older than your tarot cards, I hate to say. And I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, if you want, I will discuss the scientific merit of those things. It's there. But please don't think that that's like it's a Bible, like that's all the answers and nothing else. Again, yeah, no, I'm always willing to write more science books, of course, right? Any scientist is willing to do that. They just don't want to waste their time with hipster douchebags and punks and people that are going to harass them and just basically, yeah, like, whatever, bully them just because whatever, oh, you can't prove it, this is, oh, whatever, bullshit, and it's just a theory, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Are you trying to do anything? I haven't had much trouble on my show here. It's just, this is the kind of thing I've run into with many situations, or seen, you know, whatever. Even if you're just watching, like, a documentary in the comments, like, this is total bullshit. But it's like, okay, but if you say that, can you provide a better answer or anything? And that's usually where I can draw distinctions with that, too. Some people will say, oh, I was pretty sure it was that group, or, you know, this guy was actually dead by then, or that, you know, that amount of details, or measuring of those details proves to me that some actual thought went into this. And really, I guess that's the difference. Who's more right? Who put more thought into it? Or, yeah, like, logical thought. Does it actually make sense, or is it just the Dutch Netherlands? And, you know, I'm not an expert of history. I've you know, dabbled in that, you know, amateur historian shit, but, I wouldn't doubt that a lot of these kind of mystical beliefs, things like tarot cards and that, trace back to many Greek traditions, which became Roman traditions, pagan traditions. Oh, pagans! Oh, boy! Yeah, we're pagans, buddy. You stole that from us too, fuckers. It's all these white guy traditions. I'm sorry. They're running away from English and science and math. Guys, no! I'm sorry. I don't know, I guess this might help some people understand why, you know, how did this happen? How did this little country called Greece become, you know, all of Western society? Well, you did see 300, right? You're right. It's not even, yeah, I know. Well, the Spartans were the most stubborn hipster douchebags. They were the ones I would have been pissed off at, right? I'd be in Athens right now telling them about the hipster douchebags in Sparta. They refuse to believe science, yeah, right? They're just like, no, all we need is Hercules, yeah, straight up. Waiting for Superman. So yeah, I mean, whatever, there's a lot of history there, but basically, yeah, no, Greece was one of the most ancient civilizations. Oh, what makes you so civilized? Well, in a literal technical sense, not a French, Dutch, Netherlands, King of Flanders sense, all it means is that your society has grown beyond a village, or beyond one city, basically. If multiple cities are speaking the same language and have the same culture, and, you know, Romans look kind of similar to Greeks, yeah, they had a very similar culture, just very different governments. Like, yeah, they were trying to get away from the hipster douchebags, basically. Yeah. You know, we'll briefly cover how this happened. So, it's kind of like with Egypt or the fucking Chinese. There's a few civilizations that sprung up very early. Mesopotamians, yeah, whatever. So it happened to be one of the earliest. It probably just happened to be a region of Earth where there was a lot of fresh water and food and, you know, an abundance of fucking resources that people could use. Mount Olympus, man. I wouldn't doubt there was fucking hardcore caveman battles between, like, caveman Greeks on Mount Olympus, and one of them was probably named Zeus, and he was probably fucking huge, and he might have even knew something about science. Oh my god, motherfucking Zeus. Yeah, pretty much, dude. I do not doubt that. So eventually they spread beyond the, you know, the Caucasus Mountains, the Caucasian Caucasus Mountain region. Sorry, bro. Have you ever been to the Caucasus, bro? No, I haven't. Yeah, as far as we can tell, from that area, Greece was, yeah, nice little breadbasket, you'd call it, like a very, you know, wealthy land, yeah, lots of fresh water and food and warm sun and trees and resources. So they were able to get shit going very early. By the time people started, you know, building spears and clothing, loincloths in the white guy territories, we were rolling in with bronze and chariots and fucking, yeah, science and words, you know, written words, and it probably seemed like magic, and yeah, right? Oh my god, man. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of conflict, and yeah, I don't even know, like, all the groups or who fought who when. But yeah, it was, it was a brutal affair at times, but in a lot of cases, once the initial conquest, or not everyone was conquered, right? Some people were just like, we didn't have to, we could just walk past them, and they'd be like, there was no organized army, right? It took a while before anyone else even had an organized anything. I don't know, the bottom line there is just that they had a big head start, basically. Yeah, it's not really fair, life ain't fair, Junior. Sorry. But yeah, so I mean, whatever. Yeah, Rome came about many years. I mean, ancient Greece goes back thousands of years. I don't know exactly when Rome started, and I mean, like, there's a few different groups that made it, but it's heavily Greek origin as far as the people who started it. And the main difference in the government is the whole a real democracy, which of course got all corrupted and fucked up anyway. But Greece was much more of an aristocracy, which is like ruled by wealthy elites and snooty social clubs and frat houses. No, literally fraternities. That's what it is. It's like the university has their fraternity house, and you gotta be in the frat house with guys like me yelling at you like, you fucking idiot. You gotta know your science, oh man. Or it's a Spartan frat house where you have to be a Spartan, or whatever. That was their whole society. Not everyone was like that, but they were in charge. Yeah, right? Yeah, no, they are in charge, exactly. So if you're not one of them, you're a peasant slave, straight up slave somewhere. They weren't all getting beaten, but they had no power or wealth or anything. You couldn't make a dime there. You had to leave, go live in Rome, and so they tried to be more fair. Like, anyone can be a citizen. That's kind of the whole core idea. Anyone can be Roman, anyone can be a citizen, new start, whatever. But no second chance. This is your last option, Vinny. No, whatever. Everyone has a chance to prove themselves, but of course, fucking whatever, hipster douchebags roll in. Yeah, of course, hipster douchebag demon lord is gonna roll in anywhere. So that happened. But, whatever. They had a conquest of most of Europe before most of Europe was doing anything else. So by the time most of these other tribes got going, they were already in a heavily influenced by all this shit. You were already speaking Latin and Greek and, using all these weird traditions like tarot cards and all this pagan stuff. Yeah, pagan hibberty-Jew. The jesters and tumblers probably amused them quite a bit, and I don't doubt it. And I guess if to look any further than that, the more isolated societies, like, people were still speaking other languages. There was like Gaelic and, Nordic Vikings and stuff like that. As you can see on a map, they were more isolated. They were the furthest away, right? Little islands isolated from everything beyond the Dutch Netherlands. Yeah, the Netherlands is supposed to be the end of the map. It was literally like, this is where the map ends. That's the Netherlands. But beyond the Dutch Netherlands is Siberia. That sort of interaction didn't I'm sure traders and travelers came through, but there wasn't much like international contact until a bit later. So, Europe itself was somewhat isolated. People, again, travelers, traders would go between different areas, but there weren't fucking airlines and Greyhound buses and shit. Think about it, like, going to another city means, like, packing up and moving your whole family. Like, not many people are just going to Hawaii for fun or something. So, you had to be rich. You had to be one of the snooty hipster douchebags to do that. Anyway, whatever. Hopefully that helps you understand how this happened, why this happened. Yeah, it seems unfair. What the fuck? Why all my tarot cards are actually Greek, or what? I can tell you about them, bro. I don't even know that much, but no, Thing is, I recognize these things in those things. When they're showing me these things, it's like, I can tell you what Omicron Delta is or something, and they're like, oh no, it's the, I'm sure you guys started calling it that eventually. I'm not saying it's wrong, you measured it differently. I can teach you how to measure things a little more efficiently. And hey, I know how that sounds, but again, real scientists still want to know more things, and there's never enough, it's a crack addiction for science. If you know something, give me more crack, man. Exactly. That's the difference between the controlled substance group of the crazy nuts or whatever who are like, no, this is fucking radiation. It's like, please learn what radiation is first. So I mean, it's pretty much all we have to do. You already know the basic encryption process and where it started, the fundamental building blocks of it. And I was thinking about showing you Roman numerals or something, but really those are completely obsolete now. That would only confuse the matter. That's just nostalgia at this point. Yeah, I know, right? What? Don't you care, dude? The Muslims. Yeah, why do you? Those Muslims invented a way better counting. Yeah, no. Once you learn the Muslim zero, you start doing math like that. It's like fucking get rid of these Roman numerals, man. This is starting to look like Dutch nonsense. So yeah, I hope it doesn't seem too one-sided. I'm more than willing to get rid of Roman numerals because it's a confusing mess. The bigger the numbers get, it's like, no, I can't do math anymore. Yeah, no. And that's probably what math looks like to some people here, like a bunch of fucking Roman numerals. Like, dude, this shit, it works on a small scale? Yeah, when I'm making a few coins here? No. No, you need a zero, bud. You need a fucking decimal point. Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully... and yeah, I guess the other point of all this is I know a lot of people get overwhelmed by crazy words, Higgs bosons. I don't understand what any of this shit means. Everything sounds like it's the Dutch Netherlands. Everything has 20 definitions and nothing is certain, and everything's a Google green checkmark of fucking cheeseburgers.com is always trustworthy. So fucking whatever, man. Yeah, fucking you had a PTSD experience with your grade 1 math teacher. Hey, I get it, brah. We've talked about this. All it takes is once. They growl and snap at you once because you got an answer wrong. Oh boy, every time you see those numbers on the screen, oh man, yeah, no, it'll pass. So yeah, we'll start doing actual math next. I know, right? Oh, don't worry, we'll incorporate it into the physics. And then we'll be scientists and fucking then we can start solving real things. You learn some real spells. I realized I was looking into that Einstein equation. It was a little more complicated than I thought. I know. What? No kidding. Hey, yeah, even I don't know everything, right? No, and I don't want to just teach you a bunch of bullshit, so when it comes to these more advanced things that I don't fully understand, I'm gonna have to say, bro, I don't fully understand, but we're gonna have to figure this out. Basically just means use some of your own judgment, right? Like, yeah, don't just expect me to give you a magic spell. I can tell you here's what it's made, Yeah, I can shoot a fireball, but I don't know how big to make it. Oh man, who knows? Yeah, no, it's, no scientist knows everything. That's kind of the point. And of course, the Google checkmark, do you have the answer or not? Oh boy, Google Gulag. And whatever, we can talk more about Google too. I'm sure some people, well, you Google too, don't you? I've talked about it. We can talk about it more. I am not, whatever. I'm not saying don't use it. Just, my God, you must have run across this cult attitude of finding, like, the best answer, the top answer, the first answer. It's like, my God, I can change that answer in my privacy settings. Or tell it which one to ignore, but you know what I mean? Yeah, no. And some people would probably look at it and no, it's not. I don't see which one you're talking about. It's like, dude, there's not just going to be an option that says tell me which answer it is. You know what I mean? It's like, my God, tell it which ones to ignore and block and unsafe. Ooh, privacy. Yeah, privacy settings. Fucking hell, people. Learn what more words mean. And some of you probably get it by now. Yeah, like, when you hear a word, when you use a word, you should clearly understand exactly the idea. The more Dutch Netherland nonsense that you get, like, there are weird words because we come across weird things where it's like, we don't have a name for this yet. Yeah, who thought of that name? You ever thought that before? If a sensible person who spoke this language sensibly came across it, they would construct a word based on however you approached it. How did you even find this Higgs boson? How did you accidentally find Alaska? Yeah, right? That's, yeah, right? I'm sorry, that's what it's like when some people are trying to explain some ideas to me, and it's like, it's like you're lost in Alaska somewhere. I don't know where you are or what you're talking about. No habla español. Oh, you just don't get it. Yeah, sorry, I just don't get it. And I know for some people too, yeah, it must have been brainwashed, whatever. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I clearly don't have enough answers, or I wouldn't be doing all this science. Yeah, okay. So yeah, no, I mean, whatever, I'll let this sink in, fucking, again, you do not have to remember this alphabet, but I guarantee you're gonna run across these words over and over and over and over and over, so the next time, whatever, someone's talking about how chi is something that came from China, you can say chi is the tea we bought from China, and talked about some monk dudes with it, well, he taught us how to meditate and shit, and it was pretty cool. I learned some pretty interesting things, but bruh, like, there's a little more to it than that. Like, no, that's racist. Oh, bruh, we can start with racism if you want, and I'm completely immune to it. You're like, can you teach me that spell? Oh, immune to racism spell? Yeah, I'll teach you that one last. It's probably the most complicated. But don't worry, it's a passive effect. Yeah, I don't even, once it's there, it's there. Oh, man. And yeah, I guess I'll nail this one home, like, as the final finisher, to take anything away from this. Most most of these crazy Dutch nonsense words, some of you know by now, some of you might, almost, like, yeah, in so many cases, it's just some guy's name, and he's probably from the Dutch Netherlands. Yeah, Higgs boson, it's two Dutch guys' names from the Netherlands, like, literally. This is not a joke. So if you run across a crazy nonsense word, you start looking it up, start there. Make sure it's not just the name of some guy from the Dutch Netherlands. If it's not, you got somewhere. You learned more than Higgs boson. At least figure out who Dr. Higgs and Mr. Boson are, and then you'll know something.